Hi, welcome to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends, and I'm here again with some friends, and thanks for joining. I think we got started a little late today, but it's all good, and I'm glad you're here, and I have some phenomenal friends to share their passions and share their lives, and everybody basically knows my passion. My passion is to give knowledge and help people just have a better quality of life. So right now, today, I have two good friends, and I love them dearly, and I'm just learning more and more about them every time, because they're new friends, but it seems like I've known them for forever, and it's wonderful. So I'm going to introduce my friend Laura. Hi, Laura. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm very well.
Wow.
And
Actually,
I'm excited to be
you're
here.
excited.
I'm excited
and
to be here.
This is the second time you're here.
This is the second
This
time,
is so
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you want to come back? Yay.
Hey, what do you call me?
I'm my road dog.
I'm a road dog. I know it better as Ed McMahon or sidekick. I'm the sidekick.
Yes, yes.
But mostly it's a pleasure because this kind of conversation, getting to know people and their passions,
Right.
oh my God, how joyous it is. It just fills me. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. So happy to be here.
Oh
Thank
my,
you for having me.
thank you for, stepping in, and because I don't know what I would have done without you today. But then we also have, oh well, you know what?
No.
We're going to share your passion a little bit because they might have missed it last time you shared.
Ah, okay.
So, you can
All right, share my passion. My passion is humanity. My passion is being what humanity needs, the vessel, the bridge. I am the vessel that people use to find their connection to the divine, whatever that is. That's my passion, to help people feel empowered, to help them feel connected, to help them manifest their dreams. That is my
Wow.
passion. That's who I am.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk to our other friend over here. And you all were having such a phenomenal conversation before we got on. That's why I think we were a little
Interesting
late.
stuff, yes.
So, hi, Cherise. Welcome.
Hi, Dee.
This is your
Thank
first
you.
time here.
Yes, it is.
And I'm so glad you came. Because
I'm so glad
I
to
was
be
like,
here.
hey, why don't you just come on out? And then she says, okay. And she just thought she was going to kind of hang out.
Be a
Without,
spectator.
spectator.
Correct.
But I said, why don't you just come on? And she said, okay. I love people like that. It's
yeah.
like, okay, let's just embrace it.
I'm a team player.
Hey, life is good. So, Cherise,
Yes.
since this is your first time here,
It's my first.
what is your passion for life?
My passion for life is human rights, especially health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a personal journey myself.
Mhm.
I've been heavier. I was over 40 pounds.
Really?
Heavier than I am now, and that was a very interesting journey for me.
Mhm.
So that's my passion, just being healthy, educating people on being healthy as well, and not just only being healthy, but living a bountiful life.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're all kind of hanging out. I think we have the same kind of passions and
Yeah, I'm
the
wanting.
same theme.
I'm wanting to ask you. So you lost 40 pounds
Yes, I did.
deliberately. You worked at it. What does
Yes,
that
I
mean?
did. I've always been on the heavier side. I don't know how else to describe it. Some say thick, some say curvaceous.
I like the word voluptuous.
Voluptuous.
I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, where was it? Yeah.
It was all over. I wish I brought pictures. I wish I knew. I wish I came prepared. But yes, I was heavier. I exercised. I ate well. Found what worked for me, what didn't work. Pushed myself a little harder. Anytime I hit a plateau, I pushed myself that much harder.
So being that I am a life coach and I find the human psyche amazing, gosh, it's so interesting. What happened, or what was the moment where you said, this is not what I want? Because it's not, people do diets and they join gyms and all that thing, but they're not committed.
I wouldn't say it was one defining moment. It was a series of events. I mean, whether it's criticism, whether it's...
Ooh, what do you mean by
health-
criticism?
Outside forces that tell you you're supposed to look a certain way.
So you were feeling that from people?
Yes, I was receptive to that energy. I'm not necessarily proud of that, but that's the world we live in.
That is the world, because I had the same experiences.
Where people
Oh,
pointing fingers or being prejudiced or oppressing you or...
I have, well, and it's so sad because my mom is a person that's a very visual person.
Visual.
Very visual. So if a person is not the right size or has maybe missing teeth or, just not the norm, is a criticism. And it's a judgment. And it's very uncomfortable. And I remember I was also very overweight, not only 40 pounds, probably about over 100 pounds.
100, I've heard people here in the studio say how different you look.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, initially, I'll tell you, at 2 years old, I went to the doctors. My parents took us, and they told my parents I would be 200 pounds by the age of 12. And I was. Yes. Well, we've come to a whole, once we start talking about how, because you're eating the processed foods, this is how you were brought up.
Right.
Your body just,
Right.
So I've been on diets since I was 12.
So we don't realize, so our generation, because we're the same age, so
Mhm.
I'm 58, I'll be 58 soon.
Okay.
So my generation, growing up Puerto Rican Italian, we used to take the lard from bacon,
Mm-hmm.
and you save that lard.
Yeah, without
It's so
it.
tasty.
Oh my gosh.
And that lard got kept in the fridge or wherever we kept it, and there was not a meal that we didn't scoop out some lard and eat it, you
Yeah.
know? So we had a different mentality
Yeah,
in
definitely.
those days.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And you know what? The lard wasn't really the issue. It was the processed foods that you cooked in the lard, and well, I know my
probably all of it, I mean, yeah.
Because my grandmother, she maintained a very small. She was small, and she was healthy. She was not overweight or anything. That was on my father's side. But on my mother's side, she had a sister that was over. Well, she passed away from obesity.
Obesity.
500 pounds
Wow.
over.
Wow.
And her body actually suffocated, and she turned purple. So, because she couldn't get the oxygen.
It so amazes me. It so amazes me. I am not, so I love myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone through ups and downs in life. That's what we all do.
Right, right.
But what makes a person go that far to ignore themselves and ignore what's happening when they're putting, where is the self-love? Where is the acknowledgement? It just doesn't exist?
You know what? It wasn't even self-love, because I spoke to her before she died.
Please.
Okay?
Mhm.
And she told me that when she was 180 pounds, she didn't realize that she was not that obese. She was okay.
Okay.
But people were very harsh on her.
Sure.
And she wasn't sure how to correct it. Because it's the same with me. I was over 300 pounds at one point. Okay, I got to 200, I was 12. And then actually after that, I was on diets, and I did lose. By the time I got out of high school, because while I was in high school, I was a little overweight. But by the time I graduated, I was down to a size probably 6 or 8. I'm not
Oh.
even sure.
From dieting.
From dieting,
So
Weight
dieting-
Watchers,
right,
whatever,
right.
My mom
right.
had, actually, I think at that time, I had gone to diet pills. Yes, my mom had me go to diet pills. So I maintained the weight for probably about 5, 6, 7, 8 years or so, while I was in college, and then started my workforce and what have you. But then things start changing. I was working out by going out dancing because I love dancing. Okay.
I think it's an excellent
And
workout.
yeah, it was. It
absolutely.
was definitely. But then I wasn't going to get out of school, so I had to kind of, pull back because I was going 3-4 times a week. I knew all the parties. It was great. So, and I maintained, and I felt good. But then you had to change your lifestyle, so you grow up. So,
Okay.
that's what they tell you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I'm sorry they took that away from you. Just
I know.
To grow
I know.
up.
It's
Yeah.
like, oh no, now
Right,
I'm going
right,
back
right.
to it now. I was like, I just told you, right? I'm going back, but I'm regressing. But the thing is, I loved it, and it's. I wish I had stayed with it, but then I started inching pounds and pounds and pounds. And I remember one time my mom saw me, and a lady came to visit. And she was like, oh my gosh, she's a beautiful lady. She turned out to be a beautiful woman. And my mom made a face. And I was like, because I was overweight, she couldn't feel that somebody else could think that I was beautiful.
She couldn't receive the compliment
No,
for you. Oh,
no.
So sad.
So it was sad.
So sad.
So I had to kind of remove myself from that, because remember we were talking about negativity.
Yes. Mhm.
So I felt that was very negative. Now my aunt,
And how old were you, in the 20s?
I was in my 20s
Okay.
at that point. And I remember my aunt telling me that if people had only told her that she was okay at 180 pounds, that was not really that bad. Just be happy with who you are.
Right.
But all of a sudden, things just started happening. And she tried to do the wiring of the mouth. And, back in the
My
day, that's what they
heart.
had. They didn't have the gastric bypass at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because she passed away. She was 9 years older than me. So I was, I guess, in my 40s. She was in her 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just was gone. But she tried some things, but come to find out, we all now know it's processed foods, the sugars and all that, the chemicals that are in the foods that's
Yeah.
causing the obesity.
So it's what we eat.
Yes.
Got that. And then on a deeper level, it's caring about what we eat. So if we're to blame it just on the food, that would be missing a point.
Right.
That doesn't take away that the foods that we eat are processed, they are chemically designed, they are not good for us. This does not make that small. But at the same time, we're healthier when we love ourselves enough to look at ingredients, when we love ourselves enough to, okay, that felt good on my tongue, what is it doing to my body?
But see, at that point, you're talking, 20 years ago.
Right.
People weren't educated
Right. We weren't educated.
to that point.
And we were a lot more physical generations ago. Not 20 years ago, but
Yeah,
generations
yeah,
ago.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, even the remote control doesn't allow us to be,
This is
well,
true.
it's the
no,
truth.
you're right.
Yeah.
The access.
So it's got a lot to do with everything.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, back then, you realize that you're being brought up with certain things. You really can't really fault when you were brought up, because people say, oh, it's genetic. No, it's not
Right,
necessarily
right. No, it's
genetic.
not right.
No,
Right.
it's what your parents brought to the table.
Because we didn't realize if mommy and daddy said so, then
That's okay.
right. There was no thought after that.
And
right.
actually, they were learning from people out there advertising that this
Right.
food is good.
Right.
And the government says, yes, this is approved by the FDA, and this and that and the other. So
And do you know also, and we've been doing it for years, only they're starting to say it out loud now, there is food porn. That's what they're calling it.
Food porn?
Yeah.
I never
So,
heard that. What is
food
that?
porn.
Term.
That's the new term. So when a commercial is showing food,
Uh-huh.
the way that we show food
Oh my.
to the public, makes it look like,
Yeah,
that.
very average.
Extra delectable.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so if we're not educated in marketing,
Mm-hmm.
we're being fooled. And as I was telling you earlier, humanity likes to be entertained.
Mm-hmm.
So they entertain us. They entertain us by showing us milk and how beautiful it is. Truth is, they're not even using milk, they're using glue, because that's what the camera
Right.
needs. And they paint food to make it look a particular color and like that. So in our minds, we're brought up with commercial and all that, and they keep trying to blind us, put us back to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not asleep anymore.
Not anymore, because I was asleep for quite a while. 'Cause-
What was your break? What was your turning point?
Well, because I tried everything. Okay, I tried everything. After seeing my aunt and hearing her story and seeing her pass away, and I been on everything. Talking Jenny Craig. I've been on Nutrisystem. I've been on Weight
Watchers.
Watchers about 15 times. I did the diet pills, and everything worked for a little bit. I even had the lap band surgery.
You did.
And ultimately, that's when I went for the consultation for the lap band surgery, I didn't even tell my mother. I didn't tell my cousins. I didn't tell I only told my husband, I told my sister.
Whoever was going to be
That was it.
supportive, and
Yeah.
that was it. I understand.
I didn't want to hear, okay, if it didn't work. Oh, so why'd you do that to yourself, or blah, 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 this and the other. I didn't, again, remember I said, negativity. I can't I don't want to put myself into
Sure,
something
sure.
that I didn't want to hear.
And if you were obese, you needed to surround
Yes,
yourself
with
only with
positivity.
supportive.
Yes,
got
exactly.
it. I understand that.
So, and
sure.
that's where I went. So, because even when I went for the consultation, it took me 2 years to go for it.
For the consultation for the last
After
band.
I went to the consultation, and 2 years later, I finally said, okay, I'm going to do it.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
I just couldn't commit to it at that point. I was like, let me try this again. So I tried Weight Watchers one more time.
Right.
And it wasn't working. I would always hit the plateau, and I couldn't go but so fast.
Right.
When I went because when I remember going and getting the consultation, they asked me how much I weighed, and all I could do is start crying, because I felt embarrassed. That first of all, I didn't really know how much I weighed because I hadn't gone on a scale for years. Okay, I was scared to go on a scale. Okay. So I kind of guesstimated that it was probably about 270 at that point. But then my husband was there, and I was embarrassed for him to hear.
Oh my goodness!
You
What
know?
we don't do to
But-
ourselves.
But see, the thing is, that's what
Yeah.
happens.
Sure, you become a
can't-
number. You become a pound, not a person.
And people will ask you, well, what size are you? How much do you weigh? First of all, it's not really what size you are or how much you weigh. It's how much you feel,
Right.
how
Right.
good you feel inside.
right.
You know, if you're healthy, you're not on any kind of drugs, or you know, you're okay with yourself and your self-esteem.
then you're
it's
fine.
okay.
Yes, exactly.
But I didn't know that. I didn't get to that point at that point. Oh,
And
gosh.
unfortunately, we're not born grown up.
No.
When I was explaining to you before that a woman's life is made in Mother Crone,
Right.
we don't know. We don't know how to answer back. And when I think of the people that, so in this stage of my life, I've gone through so many of my own things to come through the other side. But when you're a little kid, you don't know how to say to somebody, what's up with that,
Yeah,
like that. When somebody
exactly.
tells you anything when you're a little kid, you don't know how to answer back. We're told to respect our adults, right?
Mhm, yeah.
We're taught about numbers. We have a scale. Step on it. I don't own a scale. I don't want to know what the number is. I could care less about the number. I don't wear a watch.
Yeah.
There's certain things that just because we're told and just because it's part of our system doesn't mean that it works for us.
No, exactly,
you know?
exactly.
So you found you instead.
Yes. Well, I went for it. 2 years later, I said, okay,
Proud of you.
I went for it. Now, did it work? For a little while.
The lap band.
Yeah, the lap band, it actually gave me the first time of being full.
Okay, so I'm just because I know I'm learning about
Mm-hmm.
an audience. So a lap band is,
Okay, lap band. Oh, she's so good. Lap band is actually a band that they put around your stomach to constrict the intake of foods,
okay,
so that the foods will
So I'm
not
picturing
be
a
able
belt.
to. Well, yes, exactly. And what they do is they fill it with fluid, and so it constricts the because when you eat, it's going into the stomach,
Mm-hmm.
but usually you have a let's say a constriction. It just goes through. But
Okay.
when you make it smaller, then it goes through small. It will
so
Go in-
does food back up?
it not well. You have to be careful on how you eat. You have to macerate.
Masticate.
Massacate. Okay.
Okay, so I don't know that word. I'm assuming it chews a lot?
Chew it real good. You gotta chew. Why did I even try? You have to chew it really, really good and long, so that when it goes into and they want you to stay in there so you're satisfied. So you won't eat as much. And if you overdo it, you will end up either
Upchucking?
yes, or just not feeling good. You know?
Okay, so here's this thing around your stomach. Can it be undone? Can it be
can
loosened
be
up?
undone. Yes, definitely. And actually, what they did was I had surgery a couple of years back, and they had to deflate it because they
Got
felt
it.
they didn't take it out, but they just deflated it by taking the fluid out. They said it was a safety precaution, whatever. But then when I went back to get fluid put back in, I only had a little bit of fluid put back in because I feel that it probably was still constricted.
Okay.
So it's already there. So it's just like a natural constriction now.
And I would assume, how many years ago did you have this?
Oh gosh, 2009?
So I'm assuming that 2009, 7 years you've almost,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That you've had it in there. I would assume that your habits have changed.
My habits had changed.
So you're not going to gulp food down.
No, I can't gulp food
How-
down.
what a
I have
wonderful-
To eat,
how
I have
wonderful
to
is-
eat slow, but I still found after exercise, because I did that instead of doing the gastric bypass, because the gastric bypass was more invasive, and I didn't want the invasiveness of the gastric bypass. They now have something else, which is the sleeve, which I was contemplating because I had kind of hit a plateau, and I started to go back up. Even though I was using natural supplements, and that was helping me maintain to a certain degree, but it was still not where I needed to be.
Okay.
So I started to lose again, but what was missing? There was something missing. So when I found this gentleman that actually shares about toxicity, and I was leaning towards that. I was learning about that because since I've been doing the show, I was finding out about more and more about the foods and what you're putting into your body, but I had not really put it all together.
All together.
And I didn't have that discipline. Because you have to have discipline and you have to be ready.
So what you're calling discipline, yeah, you have to maintain. Life is about
Yeah,
maintenance.
yeah.
You don't get to not eat.
No.
You don't get to not brush your teeth.
No.
You don't get to not brush your, life is
Right.
maintenance.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And when you have self-love on top of that, then you can maintain with a sense of, I don't want to use the word pride, but with a sense of, this is my body temple, if you will. So I want to chew. Like I want to feel the food and enjoy the food. I'm alive, I'm human. So it's another ingredient to everything you're saying. It's another ingredient.
Well, the thing is, yeah, you have to, yeah, definitely is another ingredient. And the thing is, at this point, you have to know what you're putting in.
You have to know what you're putting in.
And at that point, I really didn't realize what I was putting in was so deadly.
Deadly.
You know?
Like, would you like to share just a little bit of what's deadly?
Yes,
Go.
because this young lady, how did you do, Cherise? How did what did you start eating that changed your life? With the 40 pounds.
It's not about what I started to eat because I loved all foods. That was the problem. It's what I started to take out of my regimen.
Okay.
The bad fats.
Right.
The sodas. I wasn't much of a soda person, but anything that had excess sugar. I stopped using salt or reduced the use of salt. When I drank tea or coffee, I didn't put sugar in my tea or coffee. Certain animal fats I reduced. I still ate fish and chicken, but reduced my consumption and eventually eliminated red meats out of my diet.
So are you vegetarian?
I wouldn't consider myself a vegetarian because I still eat chicken and turkey, but not as much as I used to.
Sure.
I eat a lot of seafood. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I love my fruits and vegetables. I do eat carbs, even though the C word is very evil in our society right now, the carb word.
Well, you know what? You can have carbs.
Right.
You can definitely
You can have
carbs,
everything. You need to know. You just need to know what you're eating.
Right.
You need to know that Doritos.
I know you like your Doritos. You told me about your
I haven't
Doritos.
had a Dorito in years.
Okay,
However,
okay. But you like the cheese doodles.
I
too.
used to live on Doritos, a glass of wine, and an avocado. So our government, so that's, the people who designed the pyramid and what you should have and the percentage to your body weight and all that bit, allows us to have a certain amount of gasoline in our food. And so Doritos, one of the ingredients is a certain amount of gasoline.
Oh my gosh. Well, you heard about the arsenic.
In
Okay.
what?
In
Because I
wine.
know that's around too. In what?
There's arsenic in wine.
No, arsenic. Okay, wine, rice.
Oh, wow.
There was another thing that I just heard about
I read
that
about
arsenic was in
chicken.
it. Yeah, chicken.
Small amounts
Yes.
in chicken, yeah.
But the thing is, small amounts. Guess what? I don't want any arsenic.
I don't
in
want
my
it, and I
food.
certainly
Okay.
Isn't that amazing?
It's like-
So this is what I mean by it's about no. First we go through what we go through because we're asleep, and then we start to learn, and by learning, when I'm reading a label, there was a commercial years back that said if you can't read that word, whatever the ingredients
Yes.
are, think twice about that.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing, so your body is so important, but we don't know. If you're not really aware of what you're putting into your body, you're doing a detriment to your body.
You are.
And then you can't do your mind too. So we're going to talk about all that. Right, but right now we're going to take a commercial break. So we'll be right back.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just want him to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
Nos afecta a todos.
It affects us all.
모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with the one and only Madhouse TV.
You are the man.
After all the candles are blown out, after the last toast of the night, Cambridge paving stones with Armortech stand the test of time. Beautifully designed, built to last. Only Cambridge paving stones have Armortech, our unique process that produces a rich, distinctive color. Create your own memories with Cambridge paving stones. Visit CambridgePavers.com.
Cambridge paving stones with Armortech will always look like new.
Hi, welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. I'm having trouble today.
It's that new tongue.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's just I have too much to want to talk about because you all are just like here and we're just talking about me now, but I want to talk about you all. You
Well,
know?
it's good that we are. It's good that we are because people need to know who you are. I need to know who you are. You know, anybody who wants to show up and make sure that they're constantly giving good knowledge out to the world, I need to know you.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I just feel
so loved.
happy.
You feel
oh my
loved.
goodness,
You're all
really, truly. But it's something that I just feel you're right. You have to share.
You have to
because
share.
the journey and why it's happening. Because people don't know.
People don't know, and they're asleep. And I think the thing that is a similar thread for all of us, you as an activist, you regarding nutritional health, and me regarding spiritual health, I think the common thread is that we know that humanity is asleep.
Right.
And when I say that humanity is asleep, I'm not saying that they're stupid, I'm not putting anybody down, but I'd like you to think about yourselves for a moment. We are guided by doctors, we are guided by our education, we are guided by commercials, we are guided by our government, So we're guided by all these things. We know what marketing is. As Americans, we know what marketing is.
Yeah.
We know that before the president gets on camera, he's got 10 makeup people putting him together. We know that before he speaks, there's people who they get paid to write every word using the proper words to manipulate the audience. As Americans, we know that everything is colored to entertain us.
Right.
Unfortunately, we forget intuition. We forget how to look at the entertainment and then decide, well, what's right for me and what's behind all those words. My father, when we were kids, he was such a pain in the neck. We were watching TV, having a good time, and every time a commercial came on, my father would annoy us. What do you think they're really trying to sell you? Do you think they really care about you, Laura? And I'm thinking, no, I guess not, Dad. You know, he used to constantly throw that at us so that we would watch TV, but we'd have that. At that time, he was a nag, but we would have the voice in
The
behind us saying,
questions, yeah.
"They're just trying to sell you something."
Ask the questions.
Yeah.
Find out what the real deal is.
Right.
Which is good.
So now we're living in a world where technology is entertaining us this way. We're not even looking up at each other, right? I see little kids and everybody else, everybody's like this, that we don't even know how to do eye contact anymore.
Yeah, definitely.
People don't pick up the phone anymore. They text.
They text.
Exactly.
And you know what? Right now, I'm part of it because that's why my back went out, I believe, you know.
From
because
doing
you're like
this. Yeah.
you know, you're
Yeah.
always down and what have you.
Yeah.
And they do say that people are now being more injured with their back and their
Sure,
neck
and
what
their-
have you.
and their
Yeah.
thumbs and all that. So it's wonderful that we have all this technology. It's wonderful that we have all this technology. We're going to the moon. We're doing all kinds of wonderful things with it. But we're forgetting our spirit. We're forgetting our soul. We're
Yeah.
forgetting to look within.
The humanity of
So
it
you
all.
were telling me before that you are interested in being an activist for trafficking. Is that right?
Yes, I have done some work with organizations here in New York regarding human trafficking.
Human trafficking. Okay. So before we go there, because I can feel that already. That's a big topic.
Yeah.
So we are so asleep as human beings that we take other human beings and we sell them. What is that? So your heart is open enough to embrace this topic. I'd like to hear about it. How did you find out about it?
It was actually part of an internship, graduate tenure project. I was working with a school in Long Island regarding human trafficking within the New York City area. I was working with the school, I was attending the school, and then we were working with an organization here in Long Island. And
So there's trafficking on Long Island as well.
It's all over the world, right?
So, so again, I live in suburbia Long Island. Don't know where you live, but there's human beings being
it's so sad.
trafficked in your town, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, your local nail salon, if you're going to a bar, you don't know if the waitress has been trafficked into work under substandard conditions. It's all over, and you're not aware, you know. And even now in the news about the nail salon workers,
right.
I mean, that is a big issue.
Right.
And a lot of them are trafficked in.
Yeah. So how do you make people aware?
What we did is
Who's the we?
at Hofstra University.
Hofstra University.
This is where I went. This was some years back. What we did is we started a research initiative. We surveyed organizations that assist abused women, children, or any victims of trafficking. We surveyed them and asked them what are they providing as far as relief for these victims. And we wanted to see where the gaps were. What is missing? Is it housing? Is it job training? Is it healthcare or education? And with those results, we made recommendations for anybody who's out there to listen, anybody who's willing to help, about what needs to be done, what is lacking, what needs more work. So that's basically what we did.
Now, I always thought with the trafficking, that it was, people were taken from here and overseas. So you're saying that it's actually happening in the neighborhoods right here
Right.
in our country.
Well, here's the thing. There are a lot of, and it's not just women,
Mhm,
children, men can be trafficked as well.
Right.
They're brought in illegally to this
From-
country, all over, whether it's Eastern Europe, South Asia. I mean, anywhere where there are people looking to get a better life. Oh, I'm going to America, there's a job there for me. Somebody's
Right.
promising me a job.
Right.
You know, you meet up with somebody. I know somewhere where you can work in New York.
Right.
Give
All
me-
right, so before you go further, just so, to make it relatable, so one of my clients is originally from Guatemala. And in her words, she said to me that the people in Guatemala write her letters and call her all the time for money. Everybody wants money. Because outside of the United States, they are under the impression that to come to this country means that money is just like, here, wait, get a tree,
Yes.
and just pull off
Yeah.
money off a tree, yeah. And so they're fooled, our reputation through the media, our reputation in these other countries is that pennies are falling from heaven. Something
true.
like that.
That's true.
Yeah,
So that's
do
how they,
believe that,
so
yeah.
so we're all being kept ignorant. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I actually want to address that just briefly. I have family in Jamaica, the island, not Jamaica, Queens.
Right, over there in Whitestone, right.
And, you know, they frequently expect us to bring and give because, well, you live in America, you must be rich.
Right.
So that is the
Right.
perception.
That's the
all-
perception.
all over.
Yeah.
But you have people who are trafficked into this country under false pretenses. You're going to get a job. You're going to get a better life. You're going to get access to that ubiquitous money. And, you know, you work through a middleman, and the middleman has your papers. You come into New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, but the middleman has your papers. And here you are in the United States, you really can't do anything because your papers have been confiscated by somebody else. You were brought in under false pretenses.
Do you know the middleman? Do you know who has your papers?
You've met him because this is the person that you made negotiations with to get you into the United States, to get your job.
Are these people that come into United States, are they legal or they're illegal?
They're illegal.
They're mostly illegal. So now how do you find that these people are actually trafficked in? After the fact, after they've had some encounters, or how did you locate these trafficked persons?
We personally have not located them. It's, they usually seek help.
They have the guts to,
Right.
because I'm sure they're told if you do this, you'll be
Right.
put in jail or something.
Well,
right?
yeah, very few seek help, or if it's through a bust, the cops get a tip, there's some illegal activity going on in such and such a place. And that actually happened here in Eastern Long Island, where there was a bar this is a few years back, I don't remember all the intricate details, but they did find that some of these women had been trafficked in
Really?
and were working in the establishment illegally, and they were being mistreated. So,
Sure.
I mean, it happens, like I said, it happens everywhere, and sometimes you encounter them and you don't even know it.
Right.
Well, I applaud you for your
Thank you.
patience to change policy. I don't have that kind of patience, so I understand it. I have a friend of mine has just recently gotten into politics. We were having a glass of wine the other day, 2 glasses of wine the other day, and I don't have a lot of faith in our public system. I don't have a lot of faith in our government. I vote. I try. I'm not stepping out. I won't step out. But I don't have a lot of faith, so I applaud people like yourself who are willing to be at the helm.
Right.
So,
Thank
good
you.
for you.
Thank
Good
you.
for you.
But you know what? We also have our moments where we lose faith in the system sometimes.
Do you?
And what keeps me going is that if you give up, nothing can be done. At least if you try, you have
Right.
options. But if you give up, nothing can be done.
Right,
So-
and that's why I keep voting, because I have to, so this pinky still believes, so the pinky stays in, and I make sure to do my thing. And that's the thing about all of us. You have your passion,
Right.
you have your passion, I have my passion, and even though, there's the slap down all the time, I just keep going and going, because there's something, I'm called to do it. There's something within that pulls
Yeah.
me forward.
And that's what happened, how we all ended up here, but how we are working our lives right now, because there is a passion for us to move forward. And I know with your being the interfaith minister at
It's
this point,
huge.
that was your passion,
That's my
which
passion.
which started as, I remember your story, and as a little
I was a little
little
girl.
girl.
Yeah.
And me, I just realized I talked to everybody and I always shared. And I was always a sharer and a storyteller. And, people say that when you're, this is just who you are. And that's who I've been.
Right.
And you look back and it's like, wow.
You've always had it.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to seminary. I had to be interviewed to see if I was accepted into seminary in Manhattan, in All Faith Seminary. So I was taught by a rabbi, I was taught by a priest, I was taught by a swami, I was taught by a priestess, I was taught by heads of different religions. And when I went in for the interview, I was so immature at that point, and I said to the rabbi, said to me, "So what brings you here? What makes you want to be a minister?" And I said, "Well, I got this big personality, I said, and everybody's always listening to me, and I want to have something important to tell them." Because you really are always that.
This is true.
And then
this
you
is
get to a
true.
point in your life where you finally hone in.
And it's amazing. But we got to take one more quick break, so we'll be right back.
Killing me when you're away. Oh baby, cause I really don't care where you are. I just wanna be there where you are. And I gotta get one little taste. Sugar, yes please. Won't you come and put it down on me? I'm right here, cause I need a little somebody. Yeah, you show me good loving, make it alright. Need a little sweetness in my life. Yes, please. Won't you come and put it down on me? My broken pieces, you pick them up. Don't leave me hanging, come give me some. When I'm without you, I'm so insecure. You are the one thing I'm looking for. I want that red velvet, I want that sugar sweet. Don't let nobody touch it unless that somebody's me. I gotta be a man, there ain't no other way. Cause girl, you're hotter than a Southern California day. I don't wanna play no games, you don't gotta be afraid. Don't give me all that shy shit, no makeup on, that's my sugar. Yes please, won't you come and put it down on me? I'm right here, cause I need a little love, a little sympathy. Yeah, you show me good loving, make it alright. Need a little sweetness in my life. You show me good loving, make it alright. Need a little sweetness in my life. Yes, please, won't you come
Hi, welcome back to Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. And wow, a time has gone so fast again. But so you all ladies are going to have to come back again. And we're already making plans to meet up.
So what am I? The sidekick. I'll be here
Oh,
again.
the sidekick. Yes,
Sidekick.
yes,
I
yes.
am on the side.
Okay. I like that, you know. Oh, shucks. We just talked about you knows.
You know?
Gotta get out of that. So we're going to meet up. And
Please.
yes, sidekicks. And you can be a sidekick too.
Okay.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Very much. Thanks for having me.
Wow. Well, it's not quite over yet, so we can talk a little more.
Well, I have to say that this is. I think that I amazed myself when I realized how different our message is, but at the same time we all have that same
Exactly.
exact thread. This
Yes,
is
right.
wonderful, and I'd like to know, because I'm thinking, is this what this show is about? Is it all the different ways, but that thread of what?
It's all about basic your knowledge and your passion to get that knowledge out there, because the education is so key right now, because people don't know what's going on, and it's scary that you lived a certain way, and it's just bringing it to people so that people will be able to learn how the spirit, the body, the works together.
It all works
It
together.
has to work together.
We need to wake up, and
like you were saying, yeah, definitely
need to
work.
wake
Yeah,
up.
because thing is, if you're blind, I was reading an article the other day and about vaccines and how children were dying from the vaccines, and the kids. You know, one of my cousins, and I love her dearly, she's like, well, I never died from, I'm okay. I had my vaccines. And you know what? A lot of people have had vaccines. But then the thing is, you don't know what it did do to you.
right
You know,
until
because at this
60
point,
years old,
yeah,
when you've got
there's
some
these
issue.
vaccines. Hey, they have side effects.
Yeah.
And like the foods have side effects. So this is all about just getting the knowledge out that, come on, because I've talked to our people are learning.
They
People
are.
learning,
People
and,
are
they're-
learning.
and they are
Oh,
understanding
yeah.
that. Okay, maybe the doctors are not. They're just telling you to have those vaccines for these children, but it's not necessary.
Well, and it's not. But the thing is that it's so unfortunate
Yeah.
that we are under the impression that we have to, and so you're the doctor giving the vaccine. So now there's a law that says you have to do
Right,
that.
exactly.
And in this country, we're so afraid of not getting our paycheck that we do what we think we have to do to get the paycheck.
This is true.
And we sell our soul.
Unfortunately, that's the case. And the
We
thing
sell our
is,
soul in every aspect of life.
but now we have to learn that it's not about your soul is
I
very
believe
important.
people are taking it back. I
Yeah,
believe people
exactly.
are taking it themselves
I
back.
believe
yeah.
that's what's going on too. And the thing is, at this point, people are saying, okay,
No more.
it doesn't make any sense,
Mm-hmm.
and they realize that they can say no.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because a lot of people were scared to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, let's give them the power to say no.
One of the beauties about the internet is that education is flowing.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what I do. And that's what
Love that.
I
love that. I'm
didn't-
happy to meet you.
And I started with the fact that I'm with a wellness company, and I was taking supplements, and I loved what it was doing for me. And because I've always been a person that talked and shared, and I look back and I'm like, that's me, and I didn't realize.
So now you have
that,
stuff of
it's
value
oh
that
my
you're
gosh.
sharing.
Well, I was valued before, excuse me, but but the thing is, maybe I thought it was valued. Maybe somebody else didn't. But it's just that I always was a sharer, and I wasn't maybe as confident about how I shared.
Right.
But I talked. My girlfriend, she was saying she's been doing my hair. I've known her for over 20 years.
Right.
I met her at Weight Watchers. Okay. And it was so funny. We were at Weight Watchers. We had a little group of us, and I was at a restaurant, and I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, and all of a sudden these ladies started knocking on the door, on the window, and they're like, "Hi," and I'm looking, I'm like, I asked them whether my girlfriend, because I didn't recognize them. And they're like, "No, it's you." Because I was
Me and
like,
you.
yeah, because I was like, oh, and then they came back in and they're like, "Hey." I said, "Yeah, I think you got the wrong person." Okay?
Because you have a personality that shines like that. That's
I'm
why.
like, "You got the wrong person." They're like, "No, we met you at Weight Watchers." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing?" So, and I've been friends with her for over 20 years.
That's awesome.
And so the thing was, sharing.
Uh-huh.
Always been a sharer. And so she did my hair for 20 years. And she says people still ask about me. Because I was one of those people that would share the stories. I'm the storyteller. And I didn't realize.
I mean, you have that kind of personality that doesn't get forgotten.
Yeah,
that's true. I love it. You're bright, and that's why when we met a month ago, I was like, "I know who you are, but let's do this."
Yeah, and that's what she did. She was like, "I need your card. Give me your card before you leave because I want to get in contact with you." And the next day, she called me. Oh, that was so cool. I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." But so I don't know when you're coming back, but it will be soon. Okay,
it'll be
both
soon.
of y'all, definitely. So they're telling me it's time to say goodbye for one more week. So I hope you all enjoyed Passion for Life with Dee and Friends. So we'll be back next week. Enjoy. Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.